So your body, again, is the physicalization, the crystallization of your thoughts. You can immediately reshape your body, the way it looks, the way it feels, how healthy it is, by aligning your thinking with who you are and being in the understanding that visualization or imagination or non-physical vibration generates the physical extension of that image, now more so than ever, in a way, because of the acceleration. So it becomes easier and easier and easier to unhook from the automatic assumptions. The more conscious you become, the more vibrationally responsible for your own creation you become, the more you can choose to be and look and do whatever you want to be and look and do like. It becomes all more and more up to your preference, up to your desire. No longer do you feel that you're at the whim of some kind of pre-agreed upon system. So what happens when you get a little sick, when you get a little ill? You start focusing on it, and you start tying all these ideas into it, and you start thinking more and more out of alignment thoughts, and you start feeling worse and worse. And I know from my past, this is how it usually happened. I start to get a little tickle in the throat, and then I associate that with past experiences. Oh, that's the sign that I'm getting sick. And then I feel bad about that idea because it's not true, because it's a negative idea. It's out of harmony with who I am. It's out of harmony with the knowingness that my higher self contains, that everything is possible, and I can change this moment in an instant. I can have it become whatever I want it to become. So if I think, oh, this means something, I'm basically giving away my power. My higher self is disagreeing with that way of thinking. I feel bad. I think I feel bad because I'm actually getting sick, but I feel bad because my higher self disagrees with the thought that I'm actually getting sick and that there's no way around it. And then I get even more out of alignment, and that translates further into the body as actual sickness. Does that make sense? So you can reverse this at any moment. The earlier you catch yourself thinking negatively, focusing negatively, attracting therefore more negativity, the easier it is to reverse this process and to take the upward spiraling train of vibrancy and health and feeling really good about yourself and aligning yourself. So in a way, this is training. You have to develop the ability to not be focused physically, to not take your cue from the physicality. If you get the first signs, that's already an assumption. That symptoms are the first signs of something. That's not true. It's just a symptom in that moment. It doesn't indicate something is about to follow. But a negative assumption would be that that's the first sign of catching a cold. It doesn't have to be. That's just a thought. The thought will generate the reality because you're thinking about it. You're visualizing a sick body. And the body, as honest of a reflection of your vibration as it is, will then catch a cold. Does that make sense? So the more you understand this vibrationally, the more you can shift it, the more rapidly you can shift it and know you're worthy of shifting it if you want to shift it. And you can take your cue, you can take your lesson from the first signs of getting a cold as an indicator that you've not been fully in alignment with yourself. Now, if you take the appropriate action and shift in mind, shift in thinking, shift in understanding yourself, that the negative symptoms are an indicator of, if you shift that early on enough, it will not have to progress into any kind of disease, illness, sickness, or cold. It doesn't have to. Now, sometimes cold is a natural part, a natural process, a healthy indicator of actually shedding your skin like a snake, going through a transformational time and shedding everything, all the negative beliefs that have become crystallized in the body get flushed out in different ways, and you are in a way reborn. So it's not always an indicator of negative thoughts per se, but cleansing can happen in many ways. It doesn't have to go through the method of catching a cold, although it can. It's a perfectly valid way, but it can also come through you drinking enough water or through you having cleansing types of thoughts, or taking the supplements or the herbs that resonate with you in particular, that make you believe and feel more confident about you actually being able to flush things out, shed your skin in positive ways, in good feeling, vibrant ways. And you feel better and better and better every time you give yourself such a permission slip. So as soon as you focus negatively because a negative symptom arises, you're doing the opposite of what it's meant to do. You're approaching it in the opposite way that it actually wants you to operate in. The first sign of a negative symptom, it wants you to positively refocus yourself. But what have we taught ourselves to do is to focus more negatively because we're witnessing a negative symptom. Now remember 2 weeks ago when I said don't return next week if you don't get this one right. I'll repeat it briefly. It's the safety net of approaching all negative experiences with a positive attitude. You've got to build that safety net around your negative emotions and around your negative physical states as well. As soon as something circumstantially, physically, emotionally, or otherwise, relationally, pop up as seemingly a negative indicator of previous ongoing negative thinking, the first response to that negative noticing a negative moment should be one of excitement. Somehow, go about your own way in creating this, but you have to program yourself to respond, to appreciate every negative experience you notice, you become aware of, with an instantaneous, positive safety net response team. Your response team should consist of overly optimistic energies. Oh wow, there's a fire, let's go. It's like a fire team rushing out because they're really excited about doing what they do. Oh, 2 people got killed in the fire. Great, let's go save the rest of them. Instead of, oh, 2 people got killed, and then it won't flow, they won't be able to do their job. It's very similar in your energy. Everything needs to be seen or responded to with a positive, appreciative attitude. If this is not pre-programmed in that way, you will go down negative spirals and it will be harder to get back up in alignment.